the United Kingdom will now expel 23 Russian diplomats who have been identified as undeclared intelligence officers. They have just 1 week to leave.
That was British Prime Minister Theresa May taking harsh action against Russia following a nerve agent attack, military-grade nerve agent attack in a park after these two people left a restaurant. An ex-spy and his daughter are now hanging on for their lives in a hospital in London. The U.S. is standing by our allies in this. Here's U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, with some very strong discussion just a short time ago. Watch this.
The Russians complained recently that we criticize them too much. If the Russian government stopped using chemical weapons to assassinate its enemies, we would stop talking about them. If we don't take immediate concrete measures to address this now, Salisbury will not be the last place we see chemical weapons used. They could be used here in New York or in cities or of any country that sits on this council.
Joining me now, Bill Browder, who knows personally how dangerous the Kremlin can be. He has been a target for many years. He is a fierce critic of Putin. He's also the CEO of Hermitage Capital Management. Bill, good to see you tonight. Just to remind people, your attorney and friend, Mr. Magnitsky, was tortured and killed in a Russian prison. And your efforts to punish Russia, I guess, for that turned into sanctions that were put against them. A large effort has been launched to try to lift those sanctions by Glenn Simpson and others. So now, what do you make of this nerve agent attack in London?
I think it's the most shocking thing imaginable. Here you have a state-sponsored terrorist attack using military-grade chemical weapons in the heart of England, organized by Vladimir Putin. I mean, it can't get any more serious than that. That is absolutely
Putin's outraged. He says there's no evidence that we had anything to do with this.
And Putin said that there's no evidence that they went into Crimea. He said there's no evidence that they shot down MH17. They said there's no evidence that they killed Sergei Magnitsky. Basically, Putin lies at every step of the way. He for sure did it, and he's got to bear responsibility, and we have to create consequences for him.
And this is just a long list of these people. You had Alexander Litvinenko several years ago. You have just this week Nikolai Glushkov, who was killed short time before that, Boris Berezovsky, all people who have left the Soviet Union, living in London, who they obviously still have a bone with to pick with.
And there's one other big problem is that the British government doesn't investigate most of these things as murders. And so on the Litvinenko case, they concluded that radioactive material had been used to kill him in the heart of London, and the British government did nothing. These other cases, they didn't investigate as murders. There was another guy named Parapolichny who helped us with the Magnitsky case. He died at the age of 44, jogging in front of his house outside of London. No investigation.
What do you think Theresa May should do? Because you clearly don't think she's doing enough.
Well, so she laid out, she said, we're going to kick out 23 Russian diplomats, and then she laid out a whole list of things they're going to do. And so the gonna do stuff is what matters. And some of those things are like freezing assets and going after spies and other things. If they freeze assets of Vladimir Putin, that would get his attention. But just kicking out spies, they've got thousands of spies.
They're going to have basically no diplomatic dialogue at this point.
No diplomatic dialogue is not a response to a chemical weapons attack on your soil.
Bill Browder, I mean, where do you think this is going? Are they just going to keep doing this, or are more people? Or you must feel like you're in danger.
Well, they're going to keep doing it until there's a firm boundary put around them. Putin understands boundaries very well, and he pokes around to see where there's weakness, and he spots weakness here in this situation.
Is the Trump response strong enough?
Well, Nikki Haley's response was absolutely strong enough. Rex Tillerson's response was strong enough.
Thank you. Good to see you tonight, Bill. Bill Browder. We'll see you next time.